Hey guys, what's going on? Paul here. Welcome back to another Cardano video. So unfortunately, we've seen yet another cryptocurrency bridge exploited last night for $190 million. This time, the Nomad bridge. This may be the first time that Cardano users are affected, as this is the one that was used to bring wrapped stablecoins, Ethereum, Bitcoin through Nomad into Cardano as well. So I'll get into all of that, what it all means. Seen lots of questions out there today, like what are bridges, what are wrapped assets, what does this mean for tokens that were on the bridge or anything like that. I'll answer as many as I can in this. Any that I miss, do let me know in the comments down below. One important thing I would say as well is if you know people who are affected, maybe just drop them a message, reach out to make sure things are okay if you see people in groups. The same thing. Make sure you just interact with people, because this is yet another kick for people going through a bear market, maybe hit by Celsius, and maybe now have lost funds with Nomad, although they are hopeful to get a decent percentage of the funds back. If you think others can benefit, please do share this out, give the video a like, and let's jump into it. Okay, let's jump into it here, and timestamps will be below. So the Nomad token bridge drained of $190 million of funds in a security exploit. So before we get into that, for anyone who doesn't know what a bridge is, Nomad was a bridge that allows you to bridge assets from one chain to another. Mainly in this one, it was bridging from Ethereum into other chains. There was Moonbeam, Nomad, Cardano, and a few others there as well. So what people would do is on the Ethereum side, if you wanted to bring USDT from Ethereum into Nomad or Cardano, what you would do is send it into the contract on the Ethereum side. The funds then get locked in the Nomad contract. This is the bridge essentially, and then they're released as a native asset on the other chain. So on Moonbeam or Nomad, or well, with Cardano, it goes through Nomad and then into Cardano. So you have the version that you have is then called the wrapped asset. So the token stays on the contract on the Ethereum side, and then you have a wrapped version that you can do with what you want on the chain you've brought it to. You can sell it, others can buy it and everything like that. And it can be brought back to the original chain by sending it back through the bridge, and then the original tokens are unlocked on the Ethereum side. And that's how most bridges operate now. Now, the ERC20 converter that I've covered in videos before on the Cardano side is different, where when you are using the ERC20 converter, what happens is the tokens are burned on the chain that you are sending from, and then they're recreated on the other chain. So they aren't actually stored in the contract. They are completely burned. And if you actually go back to the original chain, they are recreated on the original chain. But this can't be used for all assets. I'll talk about different things like that further into the video though. So the Nomad bridge, drained of $190 million. How did it actually happen? If we look here, there's lots of different threads that break it all down. And if we look here, the too long to read, a poor operational strategy led to a bad Merkle root initialization, which led to every message being proven valid by default. So I'm not getting into the technical detail here. Basically, the team made some changes that changed something in the code by accident, I would say, where they marked a 0 root as an acceptable root. So this meant that every message gets auto-approved by default. So what was actually happening then on chain was all one had to do was copy the first hacker's transaction and change the address, then hit send through Etherscan. It sent it and sent the original amount out to whatever the new address that was specified. So you will see this if you start looking through Etherscan and look at what happened, the interactions with the bridge. This is one I was looking through here. This is the Nomad ERC20 bridge. So this was funds going out of this. This was USDC. And you'll see here $220,000, $220,000. Every few seconds, these were just firing out to different addresses. If you go back here, there are loads and loads of them, all of the exact same. So what was happening was the same transaction was being used and just changing the address on the other side. I did say that there was Whitehackers involved here as well, that they took some of the funds. So when some people out there in the know seen what was going on, they rushed in and started taking funds out of the contract themselves, because this wasn't one hacker that came in and took everything like we've seen some other DeFi hacks where one person comes in and takes all of the funds out of the contract. What happened here was whether the initial hacker was going to keep coming back and taking funds themselves, or whether they were just taking some, we don't know. But the way it worked out anyway was they started this off and then loads of other people come in. So other people come in with bad intentions and some come in with good intentions. So if you look at this one here and you track this, this is someone put a notice out on chain to say they've taken funds and they are ready to be given back whenever the Nomad project sets up safe addresses to do so. They have just under $3.5 million worth of tokens here. The majority being, or they have 2.5 million actually in USDC. And then there's other tokens there as well. So there are other people like that as well. I think I've seen some in here. If you look in here, one person with 17,000, one with 1 million, and there's lots of other messages coming up like that. So they are hopeful to retrieve some of the funds or a decent chunk of the funds like that would be able to be reimbursed back to people who owned the wrapped assets. If we look at actual Nomad here, what they've put out, so they're working around the clock to address the situation. They've notified law enforcement and they've retained leading firms for blockchain intelligence forensics. So this will be basically to track the transactions, because anyone who hasn't seen it before, you see here I'm on Etherscan. So for people who just use Cardano, this is the block explorer, or one of the main block explorers for Ethereum, where you can track all of the different transactions. So there are some of the hacker addresses. I've seen some with upwards of $30 million in them, where they've tried to change tokens from one to the other. But if they're using public exchanges or anything like that, you can track it all on chain. So hopefully they will be able to retrieve lots of the funds through that. So I suppose that kind of covers some of the questions on like, what is a bridge, what actually happened, what are wrapped assets. So wrapped assets are the version you get when funds are locked up in the exchange. Some of the other tokens that were involved in this that have had a massive hit are Charlie 3. You can see here down 56% from yesterday. It is one of the Cardano tokens that originally started on Ethereum and was using this process to bring some of the C3 tokens from Ethereum over to Cardano. You look at Iagon as well, down 73% today. Again, they were using this bridge too. Wingriders. So Wingriders weren't using this bridge. They do allow you to bridge out to BSC, but that's done through a different bridge. But you can see the token, which isn't impacted, but they've had a massive hit on their token price today because they built up their reputation, part of their reputation anyway, for bringing stablecoins into Cardano, which was done through the Nomad bridge. So they have put out an article here. I can link it down below, but doesn't go through much more than just a bit of background on the team, the audit. So Nomad did have an audit, and up until August 1st, things were going well. But obviously the issue seems to be, or the common issue that people are pointing to, is that where the change they made that marked something that would basically say, yes, all transactions should be approved if they have a certain pattern in them, and that's what was exploited. So look, not a good day for Wingriders either, with a big chunk of their TVL been taken away. If you look down here now, they've lost just under 70% of their TVL because a big chunk of that was the stable coins that were over on Wingriders, as well as their own token price basically being cut in half overnight as well. So you can see Cardano TVL in general down to $91 million now. So questions are from people who have the wrapped assets now and don't know what they can do. Wingriders also, if you are holding your funds in liquidity positions on Wingriders, they have stopped the pools, and I think they've set it up that you can pull out the ADA out of them pools, but you can't pull out the wrapped token. I'm not sure what way they're going to handle that. I will do a follow-up video when I get more details on that. Essentially right now the wrapped tokens aren't worth anything, because if you look at the bridge, right now it's gone from $190 million to I think a couple of $1,000 is all that's actually sitting in the Nomad bridge right now. So they have to go through and see how much funds they get back from the white hat hackers that took the funds with good intentions, and see how much of the funds they can track down using the different forensic tools that they have as well. Some other bridges previously we've seen where investors have stepped in and they have fulfilled what was on the bridge. I don't know if that's going to happen in this case, because this wasn't one chain specific, this bridge. We've seen that with bridges that were on one chain, or it was one chain created them. But in this case, I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen. As I get more information on that, I will let you guys know. So as part of this as well, I suppose this means Cardano doesn't have stable coins now, and people probably won't really want wrapped stable coins coming back onto Cardano anytime soon either. We do need other options to come out. Look, we're going to have Zed, we're going to have The likes of Cardano and Liquid are going to have their own stable coins as well. They won't be backed by dollars sitting in the bank like USDC or anything like that. Another one that we will probably be one of the first to come out is Indigo. You will be able to mint, I would say, IUSDC or USDT over on Indigo. They have went feature complete in the last, I think in the last week or two. So July 27th there. So they are going into audit, and I would say will be one of the first projects to launch after the Vassal hard fork for Cardano. What we would love to see as well, it's great to have all of these options. It would be great to see some of these stable coins like USDC or USDT as native tokens on the Cardano blockchain. But I don't know if we will see that, because on other chains, when you have tokens like that or stable coins like that, when they're created through a smart contract with other chains, they have the ability to freeze the accounts if they want. Very centralized, not something we really want to see on Cardano. Would be great to see them stable coins, but I have heard that as a reason of why we mightn't see them coming over to Cardano, because when you create native assets on Cardano, then you don't create them through a smart contract. The same way you don't create NFTs through a smart contract. So it means there's no one central entity that can ever come in and control the coins or tokens that are created. It also means that there aren't so many backdoors like we see with bridges and different things like that. There aren't so many backdoors then for actually creating new tokens or trying to steal tokens there as well. That's something I'll probably get into in another video, the other options we will see on Cardano. I hope this video has been of some use, has answered some of your questions. If you do have others, please do let me know below. I will answer as many as possible. And again, don't forget to reach out to people who may be affected by this as well, because kick after kick isn't good, and it's good to reach out and let people know you're there to talk if they want. Thanks for watching, guys. I do appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon.